We are 8 minutes and 56 seconds into this wonderful video by Immortal Ideas. And, yeah, this is dragging on. So, we're going to continue. I accidentally turned my camera off, last time, but that was like 15 minutes, so that was a good chunk. Let's continue.
That'll be a day. That'll be the day. You could just look at South Africa for places like that. I don't know. It's just gross. It's gross from what I've seen, and the hypocrisy and the double standard, especially coming out of the mainstream media, is I don't know. It's evil in a lot of ways. The way that I see it, it's so
evil.
So half truth, and it's so scripted and so narrative based to try to push a particular ideology amongst the rest of everybody else. The media elites, the cosmopolitan elites, they think that they have the monopoly on everything. They have the monopoly on morality and who is right in the world, and obviously they don't. Because you're sitting there and you're attacking people's identity.
You mean the left has an ideology of what they feel is right? Just like the right believe that they're right about everything? Strange. It's almost like they have a belief about something that they feel is right. That's just so horrible. It's a horrible thing to believe that you're right and your movement is right about something, isn't it? It's just terrible. How could they have beliefs of what they think are right? This guy's not too bright, is he?
You're attacking them because they're white, saying, oh, you have privilege. Obviously, that's going to be something used to... all white privilege is a weapon to be used against white people. I'm not saying that white people haven't garnished favorable treatment in certain aspects, okay? That's fine, but when you're sitting there and you're going after every white person, saying every white person is born with white privilege, every white person is racist, and...
That's an SJW argument. Not everyone believes that bullshit. I certainly don't believe that bullshit. I believe anybody in the United States can succeed if they work hard. Now, some people might have to work harder. Some people might not get the same opportunities, but I think we can all succeed if we work hard enough to get it. But that's definitely not a belief that I hold, that there's white privilege and no one else can succeed in the United States but white people. I've seen plenty of poor white people, living in trailer parks. I've seen homeless white people. There's a lot of poor people white people who live in Appalachia, who probably have never seen, $1,000 at one time. All I'm saying is this isn't the view of the left. What you're quoting or what you're trying to paraphrase is some crazy SJW shit that most of the people on the left don't even fucking agree with. So I don't know where this is coming from. You probably read something on Tumblr and got pissed off and think that's what all the left believes. No. I don't know where you're getting this from, but it's nonsensical.
Inherently racist in some sort of ways. You're sitting there and you're attacking these people for who they are. You're just literally using this as a tool to be able to be racist towards white people. And that is why people are going out there in the rally. I knew people who went out there in that rally. They're not fucking full-fledged Nazis.
Hold on. I thought it was about the statue. I thought it was about uniting the right. I thought so you're saying this was a racial demonstration? Are you saying that this was based on white people? Because a lot of people were saying this had nothing to do with race. This had everything to do with preserving heritage of the United States and preserving the statue. So you're admitting that this was actually a white identitarian thing. And I would have to say, you cannot be shocked that people disagree with this movement viciously, because nobody likes racism in the U.S. Racism is kind of a taboo and a stigma that nobody really wants to be accused of being. So I can't believe that you're even shocked that there was a response to this bullshit movement that you went to or that you support.
Fascists. They don't believe in any of that type of shit. They're tired of being berated for who they are. They're tired of being berated because they're white people. They're tired of having to apologize for every fucking thing that has ever happened that white people have done negatively in the eyes of progressives, And people are done apologizing for it. I mean, you're wondering why you're getting this backlash. You're letting Antifa go out there all the time and attacking people who, advocate for a political candidate. They're advocating for their president. They're happy and they're proud that they elected their president. They came together and they voted and they got the man in office that they wanted to see. And then the man in office actually came out. Donald Trump actually came out and said the exact right thing. We denounce violence coming from both sides. Okay, fine, I do too. I don't want to see violence. I don't want to see people on the alt-right going.
But you seem to only be focusing on the violence that the left perpetuates. You talked more about what the left was doing wrong rather than your own side. And it's not because the right isn't doing anything wrong, it's because you are choosing to focus on what the left does wrong because you have an obvious bias. Now, we all have biases, but when you're trying to paint a picture, well, I believe that everybody should be able to say whatever they want and blah, 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 it seems to me that you're just saying that to pander and you don't really believe that. You obviously favor your own side and you obviously don't want to hold your side as accountable to the bullshit as the left. It's mostly the left's fault. And that's just wrong, dude.
Going out there and beating the shit out of people, their ideological opponents. But at the same time, that's not what's happening. You know, Antifa has been going out there and assaulting people for literally nothing, for literally having the wrong opinions, I guess. The left wing has sat there and abated them. The left wing mainstream media has gone out there and abated them the entire fucking time. They haven't come out and detested them. They haven't come out and sit there and say, hey, this is the most disgusting display of political violence we have seen. No, it's only when white people go out and do it. That's the problem.
Well, these mainstream media outlets have an agenda, as I've said before, and these are all private businesses, and they report on what they're told. They don't have a lot of freedom in what they're allowed to report. And you could say that these media outlets are evil, but I just say that they are trying to garner viewership. That's what I believe. I don't believe it's solely about just hating on white people. I think it's about, because most of these hosts are white people. So how much sense would that make? I think it's more about making money and focusing on the agenda that the station wants to focus on. Is this right or wrong? I believe it's wrong, but it's what we're given. And that's why we have a lot of splintering of media outlets. Now, more than ever, people can pick what media outlets they want to look at. That's why you have Rebel Media, Alex Jones, you have Ben Shapiro, and you even have Keith Olbermann resurging on YouTube on The Resistance, really good channel, by the way. You're seeing a lot of these different news outlets coming out because people are sick of the mainstream media feeding us only 2 or 3 different filters. Now there's a bunch of different filters. If you think these people are so evil, I would just stop watching them. But the thing is, if you have a voice and you have a platform, you get to dictate what you cover. And unfortunately, the mainstream media doesn't cover what you like them to cover.
It's only because it's white people. It's because it's white identity politics. That's the problem. White people are advocating, sitting there and saying, well, hey, we have group interests as well. We don't want to be seen as a minority in our own country. Well,
Well, you're not really a minority in your own country. There was a story that said that Hispanics would number white people in like a number of years. I forget where I read that. Sorry, I can't speak. I forgot where I read that article, but you guys are still not in the minority. You guys are still the majority. You seem to be paranoid about a future where white people become the minority, and I can tell you that's not going to happen. At least not for a very long time. So this just shows me that the alt-right is just paranoid about shit that's not going to happen, at least not for a long time.
What do you expect? What do you expect is going to happen? Sitting there in my comment section, sitting there and saying, "Oh, you disgusting white cockroach." You think that's going to gain me on your side? I don't like seeing violence. I don't want people to get hurt. I don't want to see any of this type of shit. But when it comes to
you being white has nothing to do with how I feel about you. I think you're a piece of shit because of your views. It's not because you're white. If I saw you on the street, walking down the street, and I didn't hear anything you said, I wouldn't have an opinion of you. I wouldn't be like, oh, he's a piece of fucking shit. Look at him. I'd be like, oh, he's a dude with a hat. But now that I'm hearing your ideas, yeah, I'm going to form an opinion about you. I think you're a piece of shit who needs to get your head out of your ass and actually talk to leftist people and find out what they're actually thinking. And maybe have some kind of dialogue about it rather than retreating to the right because you think that's where you're safe. You think that's where your fucking safe space is.
Free speech and First Amendment rights, yeah, they have a right to go out there and do it, regardless of what you think of them. If they want to go out there and fly
nobody stopped them. They got the permit. They went out there. Nobody stopped them from protesting. They went out there and they protested. Now, does this mean that people can't challenge them? No. No, it does not.
Nazi flag. They have every fucking right to do so because it's the left wing that goes out there and burns an American flag every single day. They're the ones that are marching with people with communist flags every single day. An ideology that killed hundreds of billions of people.
Like the Nazis? Well, not hundreds of billions, but 6 million Jews and probably more, more so Americans. Uh, no sides' hands were clean. The people who were holding the communist flags, I'm not really quite certain why they were there, to be honest with you. I mean, communism had nothing to do with the fucking statue. I'm not really entirely sure who Antifa is, but they certainly don't represent my views. I'm not a communist. Uh,
And you're sitting there and saying, oh, look how bad the Nazis are. They're so evil and they're so white and they're so racist. When you have a fucking ideology over here that has a body count that makes the Nazis look like they look like a fucking daycare.
So you're basically saying that Nazis are better than the communists because the communists killed more people. I mean, I thought killing was just bad in general. Uh, you're basically saying that the communists are more evil. I think they're both equally evil. I don't think a body count really fucking makes a difference. If your movement kills people, like the one who ran over people in Charlottesville, your movement is evil and needs to be held accountable for that evil. I'm not entirely sure why there was a communist flag there, but I will say this about the fucking communist flag. I will say that there are a lot of people that are edgelords who just like to hold up the communist flag to be edgy. I've seen it in memes. I've seen it on Reddit. I've seen it on 4chan. People are just, they're using this flag to just be edgy. And it really has nothing to do with the ideologies of communism. I don't really know why those people were holding the communist flags, but it doesn't really. It may have been a way to piss off the right, just like the right pisses off everyone else by holding the Confederate flag and the fucking Nazi flag. They're buzzwords and buzz symbols. I think that's what it was.
So I don't know. It's complete political hypocrisy, and I'll just take a couple of days, let all this kind of shit wind down, and I don't want to be coming at this from such a I don't want my views to be coming off as so strident because people will just look at it and say, "Oh, look how angry he is. He must be filled with hate." I'm not filled with hate. I don't hate any
Oh, yes, you are.
group in the world. I don't think that any group needs to be eradicated or destroyed in any way, shape, or form. I don't like seeing that because I don't want it.
Virtue signaling. Do you say this shit to your people on the alt right? I don't know.
To happen to my group. I don't want it to happen to other groups. See, I apply my principles equally. Now, when people say, "Oh, but you sit there and you talk about race sometimes," do I think people are all born the same? No. I think people are different. Some people are smarter than others.
When you say that communists are more evil than the Nazis because of body count, I would say that you're a fucking douchebag, regardless of what your race is. They're both equally horrible. I don't. I can't even. Yeah, let's continue.
Some people are more athletic than others. That's just the reality of the world we live in. But when it comes to equal rights under the law, yeah, everybody should have equal rights under the law. Should everybody be discriminated? It's like God. I just to you, do you think that discrimination? Do you think that people should just start discriminating now? Do you think that racism? I mean, the left has literally legitimized racism. It started against white people. The alt-right did not happen because of Donald Trump. He was just the one that was, I guess, more. Well, who do you think they're going to vote for? Hillary Clinton? Like, give me a fucking break, The alt-right.
You could make the argument that because his campaign gained traction, the alt-right became a thing. Not necessarily because of Donald Trump, but because white people in the United States felt marginalized, and their issues and their complaints and their grievances were marginalized. So they formed this group to kind of be an outlash and a vicious response to the SJWs and PC culture. You could definitely make that argument. You could definitely make that assumption. But I don't think it was solely because of Donald Trump. I think whoever had won this election, the alt-right would have been a thing.
the people on the right wing, these people who are literally they're just against anti-white hatred in a lot of ways. Like I said, I know many people who actually went to the rally, seeing as I'm in this type of community, I'm in this sort of group. So I know these people are going out there to protest against anti-white hatred happening on college campuses, happening even you have Joe Biden coming out there, sitting there and saying, celebrating the fact that whites are being displaced in their home country, and saying, oh, it's going to be an unrelenting stream of immigration. You wonder why Donald Trump won. You think that people are supposed to celebrate this type of shit? You know?
I mean, your side won, so what are you still bitching about?
It doesn't make any sense. You got the Democratic senator coming from, what was it, Idaho, sitting there and saying, my job is to shut white people up when they have something to say. Fucking why? You know? You have the professor at Evergreen College, a full-on progressive activist, getting berated by black students because he didn't want to leave the college because blacks wanted to have a black-only day. Are you fucking serious? A black-only day?
All right, the people that you're citing are just idiots, partisan hacks. But this doesn't represent the entire left, as I've said before. Just like the people who were at this protest don't represent the entire right. There are plenty of people on the right who repudiated these neo-Nazis and shit like that. You're trying to basically get all these groups of people and generalize the left. And I'm telling you right now, most of the left does not agree with these people who say this stupid shit.
Would you be okay if it was a white-only day at college? Like, give me a break. Try to apply your principles equally to people, and then maybe you won't.
Here's the thing. If I had paid for my tuition, I'm going to school regardless of what day it is on campus. I don't give a fuck what day it is. If it was a white only day, I won't participate in the activities, but I'm still going to fucking class because that's what I paid for. Unless they're going to reimburse my money, yeah, tough luck. I'm going to class. I wouldn't give a fuck if they had a white only day in like the student union or something like that. I just wouldn't participate in the activities. And if the college even okayed something like that on either side, I'd probably take an issue with going to that university in the first place.
Have things like the alt-right. Try treating people with some sort of respect, and then you won't have groups like the alt-right. But as of right now, it doesn't.
Oh, so I mean, the alt-right pretty much disrespects people on a regular basis, and yet they want respect. And this is how we get this vicious cycle. I mean, these people are going to be fighting forever. We're going to be fighting forever, and it's just never going to stop until the anger dies down in a few years.
Doesn't seem like they're good. It's just going to be more unrelenting hatred towards white people. So you fucking.
Once again, it's not white people. It's the racist ideology and the neo-fascism and the neo-Nazis and the KKK. And yeah, it has nothing to do with you solely being white. As I've said before, if I saw you walking down the street, I wouldn't think anything of you. I would think you're a normal dude. It's not the fact that you're white. Really. I'm serious.
Wonder to yourself why the group has continued to moving. Why it's getting bigger, why it's growing. At least online, for example. I mean, there's supposed to be reportedly 2,000 to 6,000 people that were going to show up to that rally. None of them going to commit political violence. None of them going there to torch cars or burn anything.
Except for the one who ran a car through a crowd of people.
That was all the fucking left-wingers. They do it every single time. Literally, Antifa is doing it tonight in Seattle. Where is the mainstream media coming out and detesting their violence? Where are they detesting their hatred? I mean, they hate liberals. Antifa literally hate liberals. Liberals get the bullet too. They're literally advocating for an anarchist, communist utopia. And you're sitting there and saying, oh, a couple of people wearing a Nazi, having a Nazi flag, while you have hundreds of communists destroying private property.
As I said before, I don't think these people are literally communists. I think these people just want to piss you off. I think these people are just trolls in real life, kind of like the Nazi flags and the KKK people are just being trolls in real life. I think a lot of these people weren't even really white supremacists. I think some of them were just edgelords who are usually used to being on 4chan and getting away with shit, and they went out there and they found out that the world's a scary place.
Destroying businesses and ruining people's lives. And it's just the hypocrisy and double standard. It's sickening, it turns my stomach, to be honest, that so many people they look at this through the optics of, oh my God, it's white people advocating for white stuff. We fucking have to detest them completely, And yes, I detest the fascists, and I don't like the people who are going out there and wanting to eradicate a fucking race of people. I don't like that shit.
Yet you don't hold them accountable. You waited until the very fucking end of the video to say anything bad about him. God, you're a piece of shit.
Either, But I don't like it when people are attacking me because I'm white, I figured people, maybe I'm just batshit insane. I figured people wouldn't like it when other
No, you're just reality is fucking skewed. That's all.
people go out there and just have so much violent hatred. I've never seen so much violent hatred in my entire life, except coming from the left wing. The majority of people, because seeing as that's a lot.